Well, I see it slightly different. I feel like this was a game that Dallas, ultimately, if they lose this series, they will look at this and say, game 2 is the game that we should have stolen.
Absolutely.
It was on the table for them. Like, there were some swing plays, and I asked Kyrie Irving about it after the game. He said, you know what, that's just being in the garden. Remember at the end of the third quarter, pushing the lead back down to a manageable 6, right? And then Peyton Pritchard, walking Tommy point, right? Pulls a three-pointer out of his ass, back up to 9. That's a huge difference between 6 and 9 entering the fourth quarter. I think it was 83-74. Then you had the Drew Holiday masterpiece of a play where jumping the passing lane, it's a risk of the 8-second violation and everything else. Boom, gets the steal, throws everything off kilter, hits a 3. All of those things, those little bitty things, the margins seem to add up all in Boston's favor. Yet and still, this was a pretty close game with a minute left. Now, granted, Dallas was stalking the entire time. You never got the feeling that they were in control of the game. You never got like you said, Dan, the terms of engagement were being dictated by Boston. Everything from the point of attack defense to not having to overhelp and overcommit. Like, you can see the true difference between Minnesota's defense and how they had to play Luka Doncic and the way that Boston plays against Luka Doncic. You're not getting those advantages. You can finish above the rim. You're not making Boston have to make decisions. You're playing, this is almost like the perfect type of offense to play against to play against Boston, because nobody's moving.
Yeah, I mean, and the sort of the tracking numbers haven't come out yet for game 2, so we'll see what some of those advanced stats look like in the morning. But in game 1, I think it was like barely over 200 passes for Dallas in game 1, which is, I mean, they're not a heavy pass team anyway. They do a lot of isolation work, but still, like, that is dramatically below what the lowest ball movement offenses in the league do throughout the season. Dallas during the regular season, I believe they assisted on about 59% of their buckets. That's down to 44% in this series. They're just not creating those opportunities where Luka gets downhill and can spray, where Kyrie draws 2 and is able to kick, and everybody else is able to catch with run into a catch and make something happen, or catch and just go right up with it. And I think one of the big sort of the easy way to look at it is Boston has taken 68 spot up shots in this series. So Tatum, and you could picture it, right? Close your eyes. It's Tatum beating a guy off the dribble, Jaylen Brown beating a guy off the dribble, Drew Holiday, Derek White, insert Celtic here, beating a guy off the dribble, 2 feet in the paint, defense collapse, kick, shot. Make or miss, but that's a good shot. Those are rhythm shots that Boston wants to create. In both games, so 34 of those in game 1, 34 of those in game 2. In 2 games, Dallas has created 28 of those. Fewer in 2 games than Boston has had in either games 1 or game 2. And so that is like, and when those shots are getting created, you saw it earlier tonight, like when, as I mentioned earlier, Luka is doing enough beating you up off the dribble and beating you up one-on-one, hitting those ridiculous turnaround fadeaways. Like eventually Boston does bring more help, does start to show 2 on the ball. But where's the ball going when he's getting off the ball? It's 2 come to him. It's a pass to Derrick Jones Jr. for an above the break 3. All right, man, go ahead, make that. It's PJ Washington getting it and then being able to dribble downhill to get into a contested floater. All right, you make that, you tip your cap. It's Daniel Gafford posting up. Like, I don't know the last time Daniel Gafford had 3 post-up buckets in a week, let alone in a game. And it makes sense. He's got Tatum on him. Make Tatum work. Take advantage of the size differential there. But if that's the way you got to get offense, it's so much different from drive, kick, 40% shooter, taking a rhythm shot. And so I think that's what the first couple of games here have shown me. Like, Dallas we saw them dismantle that Minnesota defense. And Boston is basically rendering them unable to function. And that's even though over the course of the full season, Minnesota was, led Boston just about every statistical category. In the practical application of the way their defense works, it is just fundamentally better suited to deal with Dallas and to make Dallas play left-handed. And this is where, I mean, a lot of it comes back to the Kyrie Irving conversation because Luka Doncic has been, he's putting up numbers, he's getting his shots, he was even able to get other people involved a little bit tonight. Somebody else got to come to the party, and you got to figure that Kyrie Irving's got to be a big part of it.